like ravenous wolves, clawing at the mansion's windows and doors. The sky had turned a murky shade of death, as if the clouds themselves were infected with the poison of a dying planet. The humans inside the mansion toiled like frenzied ants.
Hello, hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. Hello, I'm Jim. We listen to music. Today we're finishing off this album, what's it called? Yeah, PetroDragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, an annihilation of planet Earth and the beginning of merciless damnation. Or something like that. This has been fantastic. This last side, Dawn of Eternal Night, is a bonus track on the vinyl. So this is not on the digital versions of this. So this may well be the very first time you'll have heard this. And I know it is for me, obviously. It's the first time I've heard this. Fantastic record. Absolutely bloomin' fantastic. There are so many superlatives I can throw at this, but I've been doing that all the way along, so I won't. We'll just listen to it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you to Ryan Connell for requesting this as well. I forgot to mention that.
The winds howled like ravenous wolves, clawing at the mansion's windows and doors. The sky had turned a murky shade of death, as if the clouds themselves were infected with the poison of a dying planet. The humans inside the mansion toiled like frenzied ants, their hands trembling as they performed ancient rituals in feverish synchronicity. Desperate to bend the forces of nature to their will, they attempted to tap into the wellspring of arcane, ritualistic magic. Foolish, in my opinion, but the humans had reached the brink of all possibilities.
There's a lot to go
in
through.
Their minds, only one remained. They hoped to wield their magic like a shield, protecting themselves from the deadly tornadoes that whipped over the land like whirling dervishes, collecting whole villages and tearing them asunder in the sky. The power they sought was shrouded in mystery, but the cause of the storms was clear. The humans' terror and despair filled the room in a suffocating fog. Palpable, even to me, their pet Gila monster. They frantically chanted and burned incense, eyes, hearts, and minds fixed on the swirling maelstrom beyond. They knew that time was slipping through their fingers, that the approaching storms were an unstoppable force, an untamed beast. Still, they persisted, their faith in the occult a tiny ember of optimism amid planet Earth's ashes of despair. As the winds grew louder and the mansion creaked and groaned, I knew their efforts were futile. The tornadoes were a force unlike any other, a manifestation of nature's rage and fury, a living fist of God. And no matter the strength of the human's magic, it was but a flickering candle in the face of a raging inferno. As darkness enveloped the mansion, the humans fervently performed rites, their voices a hymn pleading to ancient deities for deliverance. Dirty fingernails protruded from their robes, their eyes rimmed black from sleeplessness. Despite the vortex's tumultuous force, they persevered in their prayers and offerings. Desperate faith, blind adherence, collective insanity. The atmosphere in the room was heavy with the aroma of burning mugwort and myrrh, their voices a harmonic confluence of terror and desire, the monotony of their chanting ensnaring me in a hypnotic trance. I curled my tail around to lay my head upon it and relaxed. The old mansion quivered like a violin bow, and the screaming of the wind turned to a sweet song. As I lay in a fog of unconsciousness, my eyes locked with the house cat, Beowulf, who had been quietly watching from his perch atop a stack of sacred texts. Through the smoke of the mysterious herbs the humans were burning, Beowulf gave me a conspiratorial wink. Before I could decipher the enigmatic gesture, Beowulf stumbled and knocked over a candle, causing the flame to pirouette in the darkness. The humans seemed oblivious to the spilled candle, their focus fully absorbed in ritual. Eyes fixed on the altar, and hands moved with graceful purpose as they wove their spells. But as the fire's tendrils creeped across the room like a snake roused from its slumber, it became clear that something was awry. The flames licked and hissed at the corners of the room, the fire's hunger and intensity increasing with each passing moment.
This reminded me, certainly at the early stages, like a cutscene from a video game. It's just like
I inhaled the smoke
narration
and felt an intense desire to be one with the fire. And so I reached out and made contact. A strange energy coursed through my body. Something trembled within me like a kraken stirring in its watery grave. An ancient, dormant force. My body began to grow and change, my scales shimmering and shifting as I took on a new form. As the fire grew, so did I. My limbs elongated and new wings unfurled, my bones and muscles stretching and expanding to accommodate my new size. My head grew larger and dragon-like, my jaw widening and my teeth sharpening into deadly points. The fire raged, but I didn't burn. I was a phoenix rising from the ashes, a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. My body was a canvas painted with brush strokes of smoke and flame. I was a shapeshifter, a changeling, a being of endless potential. My skin was a cloak, shedding its old self to reveal a new, shimmering version. My eyes were windows to a vast, untapped universe. My mind was a labyrinth, a puzzle waiting to be solved. My heart was a forge, hammering a new path forward. I was a being of fire and magic, a being of transformation and renewal, a rip in space-time, born again, a force to be reckoned with, a being beyond human understanding. The wind continued to bellow with fierce shrieks, echoing the terrified cries of the humans. It poured a deluge outside and began to pour in through the cracks in the walls. A window shattered, setting off a cascade of exploding glass. I could sense their terror, their despair, as they realized their time was running out, their rituals useless in the face of nature's fury. Yet they persevered, their voices lifting in a desperate chorus as they implored the ancient gods for protection. The few remaining candles danced in the breeze that blew through the smashed windows. Outside encroached. The voices strained to compete with the deafening roar of the tempest and the cracking of timber as the mansion slowly crumbled into the inferno. Desperate, they called upon all manner of deities, both ancient and new, but alas, no amount of magic or sacrifice could spare them from the impending disaster. Their magic had turned against them, and the end was imminent. All that remained was to see what fate had in store for them. How pitiable these reckless fools were. A carnal groan echoed in my belly as I felt a primal urge to feed. The call of the hunt reverberated in my ears, and so I devoured the humans one by one, their screams of terror and despair painting the air as I feasted upon their bodies, relishing the taste of their hot blood as it cascaded down my throat. I tore flesh, I crunched bone. Death for the humans seemed to be a concoction of fear, hopelessness, and relief. Beowulf, too, was devoured, reduced to a charred tangle of fur. As I grew larger and more formidable, my hunger intensified, fueled by the ancient memories of my ancestors that stirred within me. With each bite growing larger, I transfigured into a dragon. As I consumed them, their shadowy enchantments flowed through me, imbuing me with vigor and vitality. I was no longer a mere pet, but a being of fearsome power, commanding respect and awe. The dragon. The humans, fumbling infants toying with powers beyond their comprehension, were nothing more than sustenance for my insatiable appetite. The corpses of my prey accumulated around me. I knew myself to be invincible, my path unchallenged. As the final human crumbled to the ground, it was clear that the universe had irrevocably shifted. The tempest outside howled with rage, laying waste to all in its path. Like the tornado, I was intoxicated with sheer power, and I would not be sated until I had devoured everything within reach. I unfurled my wings, letting out a triumphant scream as I reveled in my newfound strength. With a burst of energy, I broke through the mansion's ceiling, splinters of wood scattering amongst the great grey columns of air that snaked along the plains outside. I was free, and I knew naught but destruction. I was the embodiment of the human's reckless tendencies.
Quite clever, isn't it?
The land was mine to conquer. I set out into the devastated world, my senses heightened and my hunger driving me forward. And so, above the earth ablaze, I roam the land a nomad, my wings unfurled in flight as I survey my scorched domain. The horrors I unleash haunt the world like a ghostly presence. I am ruin. I am pandemonium. I am sorrow. I, the personification of terror, born out of humanity's folly and feasting upon its greed and hubris. The storms rage a never-ending deluge. The fires burn with devastation and magnitude. I set the kindling, and I fan the flames. The few remaining humans can only hope to hide and wait for the storm to pass. But there is no escape from me, and the storm will never pass. I am everywhere. I am the reckoning. I am the dragon. Coal-black cloud chokes the earth. My flame is the only sun. One by one, all of the living creatures of planet Earth will make their journey to the land of the dead, until I am the last one standing. Dawn of eternal night.
Gosh.
The wind continued to bellow with shrieks.
Wow, that was rather an interesting way to wrap up the album. Of course, it's not the way the album wrapped up. The album wrapped up with Flamethrower on the previous side, and this is purely a bonus piece of material. Now, this is written by Mackenzie, Stu Mackenzie, who's the lead figure of this band. Is the guitarist, bass player, vocals, recording, mixing, lyrics, synth. You know, he does it all. But I think, in fact, they all do it all, isn't he? But he's the one that's more often than not at the front of the band, and that's such a. I mean, it's a short story, obviously, and it can, and in some ways, it just be taken as a story. But I'm interpreting it in a different way. That actually, this is a mirror of what we have done to our planet, what we continue to do to our planet in the name of burning carbon, burning fossil fuels, really. And it's a horror story based on science, with an analogy to sort of, I guess, make it more of a. Not that we need to sort of horrify what's happening, because it is so horrific, but this is an interesting spin on that, and actually quite scary, but an incredible piece of material. I mean, there's a soundtrack in the background. It's not really much in the way of music. It's more of a soundscape, and then with the narration by the dragon over the top. That's quite disturbing, but actually a really, really, really cool way to wrap this all up. And I dig that a lot. I thought that was awesome. I really thought that was very cool. Overall, this record is just fantastic. That a band who are not metal musicians, is not a metal band, are able to produce such a convincingly authentic and authoritative metal album like this is just insane. There's no hint of it sort of being a pastiche, or we're playing at doing it, or we're pretending. It is full on proper. Everything is being done absolutely properly. The guitar riffing, the drum, the speed drumming there. I don't think we've got blast beats, but we're certainly getting a lot of double pedal and thrash speed metal drumming going on in there. Moments of Maiden, moments of Tool, moments of Metallica and Megadeth in there, and it's just such a sort of hodgepodge of. And Tool, there is so much Tool in this. It's just fantastic. And the end of Flamethrower, where it started to become more electronic, I wonder if that's going to be like a transition, because I know the new album, which, as I say, is imminently out, is very much of abstract electronica bass. So the polar opposite of this. And this could be like a little bridge to it. So I wonder if that's how it's going to work, whether the new album will open up with a similar sound. So you could sort of play it back to back and you could sort of merge into it without really noticing. And all of a sudden, oh my goodness, we're into completely new territory here, a very different landscape. This is a superb band. And you just have to celebrate it, don't you? Absolutely do. I watched yesterday a video that was put out on Pete Padre's channel, which is the Sea of Tranquility, bemoaning the fact that people generally complain that there's no good new music, there's nothing out anymore, that people, anything that's came out since the end of 1979 or since the early 80s is just rubbish. And there was a panel of 5, including our good friend Scott, who were absolutely adamant that we are doing, I'm paraphrasing we, I'm not including me, but I am part of this as well in a way, we're doing everything we can to bring new music to the audience, to show that there is so much stuff out there, because people miss this. This is there to be heard. This is as good as anything that has come out in 35 or 40 years, certainly from the metal scene. And it's the same with all the other stuff that we're talking about, sort of prog and with fusion and with classic rock and with metal and heavy and hard rock and all this stuff, that there's this assumption by a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, that there is no good new music. And that's patently not true. And it's just people are not looking for it, or looking in the wrong place, or don't know where to find it. So hopefully, if you've watched this and you've not known about this band or known about this record before, you've discovered something new and think, actually, that's not half bad, actually, is it? Not at all. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. I hope you've enjoyed this. I just have to say once more, Ryan Connell, thank you for requesting this and for getting me together. I mean, I was going to listen to this anyway. I had the album, but I just need a little nudge to sort of bring it up the pecking order. So there we go. I'll see you all on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. And until then, this is Jim. Over and out.
One by one, all of the living creatures of planet Earth will make their journey to the land of the dead, until I am the last one standing. Dawn of eternal night.